Globally, forests have been slowly deteriorating due to both natural and human causes. Trees improve air quality, provide oxygen, conserve water, preserve oil, and support animals in an ecosystem. As our Earth ages, forests have slowly been belittled and cut down for farming, logging, mining, or even unintentional forest fires. It is causing the environment to struggle due to climate change and the amount of carbon dioxide in the air as opposed to the amount of oxygen that could be present. Not only are forests and the environment weakening, but it is also impacting people around the forest destruction, both economically and agriculturally. Deforestation has become an international problem, impacting the appearance of forests, the environment, the citizens, which can only be prevented if the human population decides to make a change. Over time, deforestation has occurred in all types of forests, like temperate, coniferous, and rainforests. Deforestation happens naturally and because of human destruction. It is causing soil erosion, flooding, biodiversity loss, and cultural displacement. Soil erosion is the displacement of the upper layer of soil, one form of soil degradation. When, when trees are cut down, soil erosion begins when layers of dirt, rocks, and uprooted vegetation are dumped as solid waste, left in piles, or shoved down into valleys and mountain ranges, which turns into black slurry. Soil erosion can oftentimes occur due to flooding, where the soil is being eroded because of streams or rivers. Flooding is the covering or submerging of normally dry land with a large amount of water. Trees prevent sediment runoffs, meaning if there are no trees, the community is at higher risk for flooding. When the soil is eroded or the area is flooded, biodiversity and habitat loss can occur, where animals begin to migrate or die off because the forest cannot sustain their way of living. Biodiversity loss is the extinction of species, both plants and animals, and the local reduction or loss of species in a certain habitat. Similar to biodiversity loss, habitat loss or destruction happens when people are directly destroying a habitat by filling in wetlands, dredging rivers, mowing fields, or cutting down trees. Soil erosion, flooding, and biodiversity loss are all causes for cultural displacement, where the forest and a community no longer look the same because of modernization. Cultural displacement is a concept that describes the process of a culture either being physically separated from its roots or having the imposition of another cultural ellipse by replacing that culture. Forests and towns are losing their cultural value because they have been cleared for development, cities, towns, homes, commercial buildings, and roads, which is polluting the air and destroying the vast expanses of the forests. The effects of deforestation are soil erosion, flooding, biodiversity loss, and cultural displacement. These horrible outcomes can be easily prevented by stopping deforestation. As a whole, if deforestation is halted, then the cost of repairs for soil erosion and flooding would be much less expensive. Climate change and pollution have environmentally affected forests by destructing forests, plants, and animal habitats to the point where they cannot recover. When trees are cut down, they are either burned or allowed to rot. Then their stored carbon is released to the air as carbon dioxide to pollute the air. Although climate may not be entirely responsible for human culture, it has always had a great influence on lifestyles, meaning humans are partially the cause for climate change. Some may say that the climate naturally is changing, but there is no ecosystem on Earth that has not been affected by human activity because of pollution and increased number in greenhouse gases. As decades have passed, humans have produced thousands of new substances that are spreading into the atmosphere, hydrosphere, soils, and biosphere. For forests specifically, the growth and productivity is stunted with trees and plants. Forests hold habitats for animals, and the species of animals appear to be shifting their ranges as climate change affects their traditional habitats, forcing animals to migrate to an area where the forests are more suitable for their living. Whether it may be rainforest or deciduous forest, the destruction of it has mainly been due to the human activity where farming, development, logging, mining, and pollution take an awful toll on areas around the world. Modernization and the Industrial Revolution have made pollution seem normal to society. Forests across the globe continue to be affected by pollution and climate change, and the human race has a chance to stop the destruction with their harmful ways. Deforestation severely impacts people financially in a community where trees are being cut down or forests are getting sparse. Those who work at farms, vineries, and raise crops are at a financial risk because when loggers begin cutting down trees, their place of work is disrupted, resulting in workers having to find a new job. Not only are people and communities' occupations at risk, but also if you live in secluded areas where the trees are being deforested, then homes are being destroyed, making them homeless. Forests can be home to indigenous people who have lived there for many centuries, which can put them in grave danger when forests are being destroyed. A magazine article wrote, "Natural reserves like food, fibers, fuel, clean water, healthy soil, and protection from floods are easy to overlook." This is stating that those who depend on ecosystem services are not always calculating in the cost for the goods given to them from forests and farms. Deforestation has the capability to put people out of homes and jobs, creating a financial risk for a community. It is affecting those in a community beyond health and environmental risks. If the ones that are cutting down the trees were considering these financial downfalls, deforestation would be halted. Deforestation is not a global problem that cannot be solved. The problem is that our forests are slowly deteriorating through natural and human causes. Since the Industrial Revolution, pollution, logging, and modernization has been occurring in towns. The sole purpose that I am writing this paper is because I want people to be informed. If others are not educated about their harmful ways, the cycle will continue, and those who are unaware will stay arrogant to the problem. Conservation and restoration are very important because planting new trees does not recreate an old forest, as it once was, but it does help stop soil from being washed away, meaning it is imperative that we strive to recycle nutrients back into the soil to reduce erosion. The hope is that by knowing without forests the animals will disappear, we are giving people the incentive to do research and take action. Conservation is not only done by individual people. National forests have management teams where they must balance the need of various cultures to use the resources of the forest for their survival, with the needs of wildlife and the health of a biome and plant, in order to beneficially conserve the forests. Since every living thing on Earth plays a role in keeping the planet healthy and able to support life, as humans we should not try to counteract the cycle of life. Improving air quality, regulating the cutting of trees, and not polluting the earth are many ways that the human population can protect forests to conserve our planet. As activists continue to enlighten people on the topic of deforestation, we have a chance to clean up the world. Deforestation will have a lasting impact on our communities, are not willing to change regular day activities that seem normal to us. It may seem as if the trees and forests are withering away because of natural reasons, but there is always a factor occurring making it that way. Loggers and other workers are either cutting down trees out of arrogance or lack of education. If people were educated on deforestation, our earth would not be facing the long-term effects like permanently removing our standing forests, environmentally changing the earth's cleanliness, and impacting the people in a given community.